What's up, guys? So at the end of the last video you saw what's going to be going on, and I mentioned it before, but I'm going turbo. So first thing I'm going to do is set up this coolant system. I showed the last video, we got the upper hose on eBay, and this is also from eBay but came as a kit. So yeah, you just search K-Swap Radiator upper hose and this is what you'll find, or you get the kit. I think it's like 80 bucks and it fits just fine as long as you have this style pointing down thermostat housing. So we're gonna put the radiator in and bleed the system. Maybe if everything works out, I'll bring it out on the street and see if it drives. But yeah, this is part one because I think there's gonna be multiple parts because I gotta wait on all kinds of stuff. But I do have the turbo, I have the drain, and I have the feed line. So here we go. All right, so I ended up having to trim this a little bit, but I have some hose that was left over from the EG, and it does fit nice after I trimmed it. It's not gonna hit whenever the intercooler pipe goes in. The bottom hose, it was trimmed at a previous time, but it fits pretty good, so that's in. I don't have a radiator fan yet. I'm not too worried about it. You know, I'll get it soon. As soon as this is set up, I'll look into that. So next thing I gotta do is fill it, jack up the car, start this super loud thing, and bleed the coolant system. Like always, I like to use the, well, you pretty much have to use the recommended coolant, which is the blue stuff. You get this at your auto parts store. All right, let's get her started. All right, let's go for it again. All right, so this whole first portion of the video kind of went to crap. I ended up bleeding it off camera because I could not get the car started for the life of me. So I thought about it. I unplugged the map sensor and it started. I'm like, okay, the map sensor took a poop again. It wasn't the map sensor. So I just kind of thought, like, what variable did I change? And I just, off camera the other day, I rewired the ECT sensor. So I unplugged it and of course it started. So I really don't know what was going on. But it starts now, and I bled it. I did order an oil pan because I figured out it's leaking down in this corner, probably from being bent or whatever. But I ordered one off Rock Auto, so I can do the return. I am going to attempt to start this super loud thing and maybe drive it down the street. So hopefully that works out. Alright, so unfortunately, like a lot of this stuff I am not recording, but I did drive the car. It's super duper slow. It's probably as fast as a untuned K24A1 would run, but it didn't have any hiccups, and it seemed like it shifted through all the gears. So in preparation for the oil pan that'll be coming soon, I'm going to drain the oil, kind of give it a visual inspection just to see if any kind of weird particles come out. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so took the oil out, get a flashlight, and I mean, visually I don't see any kind of metallic, which is good. I'm gonna put it in another drain and then I'll probably get a better idea. But if it was pretty bad, I think you know, I would have seen a lot of metallic, but it's just kind of either dirty or just the way the black of the pan is, and the oil, you know, it's kind of like a golden color. So at least I ran it through the motor, you know, a couple good times. If there was any junk in there, it got out. Alright guys, so last time we bled the system, we had some problems. I think I mentioned it. Didn't start, got it to start, whatever. So I got a bunch of parts in, so we get this turbo thing rolling. So first things first, didn't have it last time, but now I have it. It's a 12-inch fan from eBay. I'm running the same on the EG. It works pretty good. I can't complain. It's not the greatest, but it's better than OEM. And we'll just mount it on this side, and it's going to pull. It's going to pull the air this way. We could do either pull or push. I prefer to just pull. Also, put this vise in so I could do my AN lines. Maybe somewhere during this video or the second video of this series, we'll use it to do those lines. So first, let's do this, and yeah. Alright, so fan is in, and I'm sure if you've done this before, you already know how it works, but it's kind of like a zip tie thing, and it goes to the little fins, and the radiator comes out the other side, and then gets snugged with another thing. I tie it into the factory fan harness. So yeah, it should work. Once I plug K-Pro back in, I'll do a little test, but for now it's going to stay in the EG. So it's not nice, but it works, right? Alright, so next we're going to mess with the turbo drain. So on eBay turbo, the turbo drain looks like this. Most others, from what I've seen, this is usually what the feed looks like, and there'll be like a little kind of restrictor in there. But the eBay turbo comes like this, and the drain fitting will come like this. So the problem is this is ginormous and it does not line up. But if you take the provided restrictor, it fits fine. But we can't use this because look at the size of this hole. Yeah, that'll never drain. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, which is the one we have. We're gonna take this and we're gonna place it over it. We'll make some like marks, see where we need to drill, and we'll just modify this to work with the eBay drain. Whoop! Alright, so I drilled them. It didn't come out all that great. I'm kind of disappointed, but I did get it down. I applied some high temp RTV just because I don't exactly trust the way the fitting and everything went. So just to have extra reassurance, I just put that on. So I'm gonna let this dry, and in the meantime, I'm gonna start removing this oil pan because I bought a brand new one from Rock Auto and it's steel. So we'll talk about that. Alright, so for the oil drain fitting, I got one of these, it's one that you put in through, and it has two seals. There's one, there's the other. So basically we'll drill a hole with the step drill, put it in where it just fits, and apply our seal. I'm thinking about putting a little bit of RTV and then push it on through. Hot metal. Alright, so that should work. Alright, so we got the fitting in, both sides, and I applied some RTV because I just wanted to be safe. It's the black RTV, it's oil resistant, so I just torqued the living crap out of it, and hopefully it don't leak, but that's where I like to put it. It's it could probably go a little bit higher, but I think it'll be fine where it's at. Alright, so it's been a few days. I let the RTV on the drain plug dry. So now I'm going to remove the OEM oil pan. All right, so we got the pan off. It was on there pretty good, but I managed to just get it by using a pry bar. So now I'm gonna have the fun task of taking off all the RTV. Yay. All right, sorry guys. I haven't gone into crazy detail because a lot of this stuff is kind of just takes forever and it's not super interesting. But we got that new oil pan in and got a fitting made, or I made the fitting. I've never done this before and I think it came out good, minus this looking really ugly. So I'm going to just mock this up, cut it to where I think the length should be. I want to leave myself some slack, and then to the best of my ability I'll explain to you how to make an AN line. Alright, so I got the fitting on the bottom and I have it to pretty much without having the turbo on where I think it'll be good. You want to use tape so when you cut this it doesn't fray out the nylon or the steel braid, depending on what you're going to use. When you cut this, you could either use a cutoff wheel or a hose cutter, which I'll show you here in a bit. Alright, so these are the cutters I'm going to use. They're made specifically to cut hoses. So let's go. Alright, so I cut it, and honestly, I don't know if it's the hose or it's me, but basically it frayed up so bad I decided just to push it back. So this is the AN fitting where the hose gets pushed in. I put some oil in here just so this pushes in really nice. It should, yep, it should just go in, and as you can see, the hose is in there. So at this point, we can lock this in the vise. Take this piece, push it in. You really want to push it in, make sure that it gets inside that hose. Alright, so I'm going to tighten up the AN line on the turbo first, because I think when I go to put it in, it'll be easier. That way I don't have to like try to tighten it when it's already in its fixed position. Alright, so we got the drain off the turbo in, and off camera I actually had to trim this hose, and yes, it is ugly, but the angle on it I'm pretty happy with. It's not too tight and I think it's going to make for a good flow. So that's the feed line, or the drain line rather, and it is in. Alright, so next thing I got to do now that we did the drain is the turbo feed line. So this all came off eBay. I think this is like 50 inches or 42 inches. I'd have to double check. It comes with this adapter, which will go in the back. I'll show you guys how that works. And the oil pressure sensor should go on this T. And then with the turbo setup, you have to make sure you get the, what is this? A reducer. That way you don't blow up your turbo, because it's gonna just push so much oil, the seals will just blow out. So you gotta make sure you got one of these. So this, you don't need to use any kind of Teflon. Should just be able to push it in there and it'll seal itself. Alright, so I got the fitting in with the plug, the feed, the OEM pressure sensor. Got the line set up, and then the reducer, I find out, had broke inside the turbo. Luckily I was able to get what pieces broke, but that kind of just puts a damper on getting this thing one step closer to being done. So I got to order this. Kind of bummed out, but you know what, stuff happens. So it's better I find this now than when it's running and this pieces get inside the car. So it is kind of a good thing that we figured this out now. But yeah, back to ordering a new one. All right, so with the issues that I did have, I think it's safe to say that this will probably end this video. I wish I got more of the car running and driving. It just kind of happened on a limb where I did get it starting and I just was too focused on just getting it started and I wasn't recording. And then when I did drive it, that would have been kind of cool. But like I said, like I kind of just pulled it out of the driveway and took it out, and you know, just wanted to make sure everything was good. But at least this video, we got the radiator in, it has coolant, the turbo is mounted, the drain is mounted, half of the feed line is mounted, so a lot of the turbo stuff is like complete, you know, a good portion of it. So I think next video we'll finish the feed line. I think I will start it with the turbo on it. That way we can make sure there's no leaks, and then maybe start doing the wastegate and get into other things with the car. But for now, at least we see the turbo is in its resting spot. I still have to clock it, but at least it's there. So looking forward to that. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for checking out the build and following me on Instagram. You know, if you ever have questions about case swaps or anything, you know, I'm more than happy to answer them in the comments, or you could DM me on Instagram. And if you don't have me on Instagram, it's egchris92. So, till next time, like, comment, subscribe. Later.